This morning, if you looked in your bulletins, you saw that we're not going to have a traditional sermon this morning, but I just thought it was worth taking this time to fill you in and just share with you what our youth have been up to. 3 weeks ago now, we went to Indianapolis. We took 20 students, and we served there with an organization called Youth Works. And we had an absolute blast. And I'm going to have a few of the students come up and share about that. Before we do, I just want to make a big deal about that video that you saw was entirely put together by Landon Dent, and I thought that was some pretty incredible work. So, just yet another way that our teens are serving our church. Fantastic job with that. And so at this time, I'm going to have Landon Mosier come up, and he's going to share about his mission trip experience.
Good morning. While on the mission trip, we worshiped God in many different ways. For example, we sang worship songs, did daily devotions, had group discussions, and had service projects. After every service project, we had an activity that we got to do with our church. Some of these activities were going on a scavenger hunt around Indianapolis, visiting the downtown canal in the neighboring town Franklin, and having a worship service with a church that we stayed at for the week. Out of all the experiences we had, I believe the most important thing we did on this trip was serving the community. We got to go to a variety of places like a men's homeless shelter, a community cupboard, a Ronald McDonald House, the Habitat for Humanity Restore, and a Rise Against Hunger program. While at these places, we would help them with anything that they asked us to do, whether that was making sandwiches for the homeless, cleaning and sorting shoes, or helping people get food from the local food pantry. We wanted to show God's love to the people of Indianapolis by serving them with love, kindness, and compassion. We came to show them God's love by serving them with positive attitudes. When we went to these work sites, we always had a smile on our faces so that they would see how much God cared for them and that his love is for everyone. That is the reason why I believe that the service we did was the most important experience we had on this trip, and I'm very grateful for this trip and the experiences we got while on it. This experience let me grow my faith while spreading God's love to the people of Indianapolis.
While on the mission trip, our group, which consisted of most of the high schoolers, served at various locations. One day we helped people shop and we stocked shelves at a food pantry. Another day we cleaned dishes, checked equipment, and packed boxes at Rise Against Hunger. We helped roll carpets and put together furniture at a home goods store. We helped wash and sort shoes at a nonprofit organization. But one place that we served at stood out to me more than the others. It was the place that we went to on Wednesday. On Wednesday, our group spent the entire service day volunteering at a men's homeless shelter. When we first arrived at the shelter, we weren't doing a whole lot of work. We were just putting together peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in our lovely plastic aprons and hairnets, which we looked very stunning in. My first thought was, okay, this is kind of nice. We've worked super hard this week so far, so having a simple laid-back day will be pretty nice. I was very wrong. After we had packed what felt like near to 1 million sandwiches, we were told that we would be serving all of the men at the shelter lunch. And at first, I didn't know what all that entailed, but I was about to find out. When it was time to start to get things prepped for lunch, an older guy named Tom came out to help us get ready. Now, Tom was a very intense guy. To be fair, apparently he was also a prison guard at a nearby prison, and I don't know if any of you have spent time in prison lately, but I have not. So I wasn't ready for the aggression. Now, as scary and intimidating as Tom may have been, there was one thing that I really respected about him. He truly cared about the work he was doing. The shelter was very important to him. I admire that. While we were prepping lunch, Tom gave us an illustration that got me thinking. It was a baseball illustration. He told us that the people at the shelter were all born on first base. while most of us were born on third base. Meaning that most of the people at the shelter aren't there because they did something bad to end up in that situation, but because they had no other choice. They had no advantage. We have been given an advantage. We are all blessed with shelter, clothes, and food, while most of these men hadn't ever been given that. These men didn't want to be there. They didn't have a choice. Once lunch started, it was very stressful. There were a lot of people to serve food to, and Tom was yelling at us in all different directions. Most of the group was in the kitchen preparing trays, but Noah and I were very lucky to have gotten an experience that no one else had the opportunity to get. Noah and I's job was when a man walked in for lunch, we would grab a tray from the kitchen and take it out to the man. We would then ask if he wanted juice or water, and depending on his response, we'd go get that for him. Noah and I got the opportunity to interact with the men at the shelter, and it was a life-changing experience. Talking to the men, you could see that Tom's illustration was right. Most of these men weren't mean people. They didn't do something to end up here. They had no choice. So the point I want to get across this morning is very simple, but I think a lot of us are very quick to forget it. Be grateful for what you have. God has blessed us all with so much, and even though you might think that you need the newest material items, you don't. We are blessed to have the things that we do, because some people don't have anything. Some of us are too tied up in the next material thing that we're going to buy, while some people, like the men at the shelter, don't know what their next meal is going to be or where they're going to sleep tonight. We are so blessed, and God provides us with everything we need. In Philippians 4:19 it says, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus." God meets our needs. He is everything we need. Please don't forget that.
Good morning, church. As many of you already know, I just graduated, so this has been my last mission trip, and of course, that entails a lot of lasts. My very last day of high school, my last football game, this is my last youth Sunday. So I've been kind of keeping track of all these lasts and getting sad about my last 23rd day of high school. But my mom sent me something that really touched my heart. She said to remember to take note of the firsts. And right now, that has just been my first financial aid bill. But over the mission trip, I had another first, and I'm going to share about that. This trip was one of my favorites because we went to so many locations, as the Landons and Tony shared. We went to 6 locations: the Sharing Place, Rise Against Hunger, Habitat for Humanity, the Mission Shelter for Men, the men's shelter that Landon mentioned, Changing Footprints, and the Ronald McDonald House. And each day, at the end of the day, the volunteers would kind of repeat back to us what we did that day. So you saw the giant truck filled with piles of shoes. That day we donated 14,000 pairs of shoes to Africa that day, and at the men's shelter we served nearly 100 meals. And it was incredible. We all looked at each other and were like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe we just did that. That's crazy awesome. But the biggest part of that was seeing these volunteers either not be fazed by it or look at us and say, thank you so much. We are super grateful for your help and don't know where we would have been without this help today. And in that moment, it kind of made me realize that this is something that I could do at home. I could totally volunteer and work for a volunteer place at home because a lot of these volunteers are regulars and they either get paid, this is their job, or they volunteer regularly. So by the time I got home, saw my work schedule that day, kind of sobered up, had some time to myself, I had a really not exciting realization that it was the first time that I hated my job. Only because my job was not service. I was so upset that I would be going into a donut shop instead of a shelter on Monday. And I was on the phone with Noah, and I'm crying about how much I don't want to go into work, and he said, well, you're serving at VBS that week in the mornings. There's VBS. And then after that, you go to work and you serve at work. And that's silly. I work in a customer service job. Of course I'm going to serve at work. But it got me thinking. Service is everywhere. It's not just in the church or at shelters or the Ronald McDonald House. It's everywhere. And we have the opportunity to serve everywhere. And I know that's a cliche thing to say, but a lot of times we don't think about it. Ephesians 6:7 says to serve wholeheartedly as if you were serving the Lord, not people. And I think this week we all need to remember that, and I encourage you to remember that service isn't just donating time or money to the church or other missions places. It's serving the Lord everywhere in everything that we do. Thank you so much. God bless.
So that gives you a little glimpse as to what happens at Round Lake Summer Camp. This year we took 42 students. I just kind of wanted to mention, you saw there at the end, we did have 3 baptisms. Emily Bankovich, Olivia Aller, and I knew I would forget the third one. And Annabelle, yes. And so that was super exciting. I just kind of wanted to mention, when we went on our mission trip, we were so outward focused. It was a super fun time, and we were there, and all the kids were so selfless. They not just serving the community there, but serving each other, serving anybody they could serve. It was very outward focused. When we went to camp, yes, it was an absolute blast. We had a ton of fun. We got to play go-karts and do Nerf archery and all kinds of fun things. But it was a time to be inward focused, and God showed up and did some pretty amazing things. I look out in this room and I see a lot of adults, and you have stuff that you're going through. There's very real difficulties. There's real issues that you go through, and you might think at sometimes it might cross your mind that a teenager, well, just wait until you become an adult, and you'll see what real problems are like, or real issues are like. But teens are really going through a lot of stuff, and there's a lot that they have to navigate. And if you remember back when you were a teenager, it wasn't always easy. And a lot of the kids were very open to God's leading during the week, and we're so receptive to the messages. We had morning speakers and evening speakers that the messages weren't always short, and they weren't always simple. And it was really, really hot. And they endured the heat and the length of the messages and the content of the sermons and really took that all in, and God did some really pretty amazing things. And so I've asked another 3 students if they would come, and they would share about that week at camp. And so we will start with, I forget. It's been a long week. I'm recovering still. So Caleb Johnson's going to come, and he's going to share.
So this past week at camp, it was really fun. Me and the boys found our crazy ways to have fun, including betting on mini golf or even making my brother draw 46 cards and no mercy. But even through those fun things and our one-day activities were kind of lame, except meal packing. Kind of seems a little weird, doesn't it? But for some reason, me and the guys found meal packing to be the funnest. Service for other people and not having fun for ourselves. But through all those activities and games, I found that one time of the week really stuck with me. It was Sunday night sermon, the first night we got there. We were studying through Psalm 23 throughout the week, and that night we learned our first verse. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Now, this is such a comforting verse. For somebody like me, a teenager in this day and age, it's kind of hard to go through life and make it all like pretty, nice, and fun. But to know that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want anything, it just brings comfort to me knowing that I have a good father, a good shepherd that will lead me and guide me. And when we don't lack anything, it's the fact that we don't need anything of this world, but we need him. He is what we need through our trials, our failures, whenever we're in times of need. That is who we run to. And later on in Psalm 23, it also says that even though and even when I walk through the darkest valley, not I might, it's when, because we all will, eventually at some point in life, he will be with us. I will fear no evil, for his rod and his staff, they comfort me. And that is so comforting to me to know that I have this good shepherd that will never let me down, who will never fail me, and I can always trust on him in a time of need. And I just want to leave you guys with one thing. I just want you to read Psalm 23, verse 1 again. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. I want that to resonate with you guys as you guys go out through your lives, to know that you do have a good shepherd and you shall not lack anything in life. Thank you.
I'm gonna do my best to not stare at my phone, but as of 6:30 this morning, I had not started this. So. All week this week at church camp, all we talked about was Psalm 23. For those of you who don't already know, this psalm is about how God is our shepherd and we are his flock of sheep. Out of all of the sermons we heard this week, one in particular stood out to me the most. This sermon wasn't as much about God being our shepherd, but more about us as sheep. For those of you who are like myself and don't know much about sheep, this is what we learned. Sheep are incredibly stupid. They constantly wander off. They will get stuck in the same hole time after time, never learning their lesson. One time, there was a flock of sheep that had over 1,000 sheep in it. One sheep in this flock fell off a cliff, and the rest of them saw this and thought it looked like fun. Every single one of these sheep in the flock jumped off this cliff. I was a little confused at first why they would tell us this, until I realized how much this relates to me in my own life. I will follow the crowd even when I know what they are doing is wrong, just because I want to fit in. I will fall to the same sin and temptation time after time. Over time, I always seem to wander away from God. But no matter how many times I do these things, God, the Good Shepherd, is there for me. They then shared Luke 15, 3 through 7 to us, which says this. If a man has 100 sheep, and one of them gets lost, what will he do? Won't he leave the 99 others in the wilderness, and go to search for the one that is lost until he finds it? And when he has found it, he will joyfully carry it home on his shoulder. When he arrives, he will call together his friends and neighbors, saying, Rejoice with me, because I have found my lost sheep. In the same way, there is more joy in heaven over the one lost sinner who repents and returns to God, than over 99 others who are righteous and haven't strayed away. So no matter what, no matter how badly you mess up, how far away from God you stray, he is always your good shepherd. He will chase you down, won't stop until you are found, and return to the kingdom of heaven. Thank you. God bless.
Good morning. Oh, there's a lot of you. The first service, there was like 3 rows that were filled. I'm not really good with speaking in front of crowds, so bear with me. I've been going to Round Lake for 3 years, and last year I was baptized. Round Lake means so much to me, and it has taught me so many things. It has taught me how to make new friends, how to pray, and how to be faithful and fearless. But the main thing camp taught me last week is that God is always with you during your trials and hardships. It was at my lowest moment where God met me and saved me. At camp, we studied Psalm 23. The verse that spoke to me most is verse 4. David writes, "Even when I go through the darkest valley, I fear no danger, for you are with me. Your rod and staff, they comfort me." When I found Jesus and got baptized, no one told me life was going to be hard. I thought after you gave your life to Christ, everything was going to be perfect. I was really wrong. I learned that it only gets harder. You see, God does not promise us a perfect and simple life. You will experience situations that rock your relationship with Christ and alter your life forever. But what he does promise is his everlasting presence. There is not a moment of your life where he is not there. You just have to look for him. Another thing God spoke to me about is that there's nothing you can do to make him stop loving you. Matthew 25:22, it is written, "His Lord said to him, 'Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I will make you a ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord.'" God doesn't tell us we're his perfect and never failing servants. We don't have to be perfect for his love. We just have to stay faithful in the tough times. He is the only thing that will get us through them. Speaking to the kids here, camp is an incredible experience, and for anyone who is on the edge of deciding whether or not you want to go, please go. You'll meet so many new people, learn new things about Christ, and grow your relationship with God. Thank you.
I distinctly remember when we were pregnant with our first son, Noah, and I remember being so scared as a parent and thinking, just the things that you hear on the news and things that are happening in this world and how things were different from when I was growing up. And I thought, I don't know that I want to bring a person into this world. And I was genuinely scared. And then I look at this group of teenagers and I think, we're going to be okay. There were more than one occasion at camp that adults came to me and said, "I just have to tell you, you have the best group of kids at camp." To which I replied, "I know." Thank you, I know. But I just couldn't be more proud of the young men and women that you see before you today. God is doing good things in the life of this church, and he's going to do good things in this community. And I'm so excited about our graduate. I couldn't be more proud of our graduating seniors that are going to go off into this world and do great things. We serve an awesome God who loves sinners like us. And that was one of the main things that we learned at camp. As Tank shared, we're all sheep. We've all gone astray. We are all stupid. We've all made mistakes. None of us are perfect. But God has redeemed us and given us a value. He sees value in us. He sees value in you. And if this morning you don't know this God who loves you like crazy, we'd love to talk to you about it. If that's you this morning and you're inspired by what you've heard this morning, we invite you to come and to make that known, and we'd love to talk to you about Jesus as we stand together and we sing our invitation song.